Hi, I was just watching the Amazing Atheist on YouTube give a critique of Ron Paul, and I have to say it was good and bad at the same time. To be honest with you, it really struck a deep chord in me because the issues that he has with Ron Paul are some of the same issues I have with Ron Paul as far as the issue about abortion and the issue about evolution. Now, quite clearly what you're doing is you're taking what he said about the separation of church and state, you're taking that in a way out of context, actually in quite an important way, because he's not talking about people in political office should implement their religious views on other people. He's talking about people should not have the government telling them what their religious views are. And this includes views on marriage, such as gay marriage. So he is saying that the government shouldn't be affecting people. He's not saying that people should be in government and then taking their religious views and smothering the whole country with them. And if you can find any evidence in his voting record of him doing that in all these years that he's been in office, I won't support him. I'll withdraw everything. But seriously, the issue with evolution is one, and I struggle with that issue and disagree with him on that. And the issue of abortion, as I already mentioned, if he were to go for banning abortion federally, I wouldn't support that. But he doesn't want to ban abortion federally, and he doesn't want to. He's not going to take his views on evolution and somehow parlay that or take that into the government in any way, having an effect on your personal life. Furthermore, if there is a candidate that you think is better suited, I'd sure like to know who that is and why, again, taking all of the elements on the table here. If you can show that there's a candidate that is better to eradicate the corporatism, stop the war issues, and I'm including the war on drugs, by the way. I think if you were to do that, and for all this liberty that he is trying to, to maintain liberty, such a, you almost make it sound like a dirty word. It's so cool. But I mean, I think you'd be giving him a bearded, a bearded cock slathering if you really took a look at all of the issues that he is trying to convey, and that he doesn't hold back when he's interviewed by people, journalists, or people in the audience. He doesn't hold back. He just lays it on the line, and he tells it like it is. And his voting record is consistent. He is not out there for any other reason than to support these issues. And I don't see evidence. And I'm a libertarian, agnostic, progressive myself. I don't see any issues of him mandating morals to the masses. He only votes for things for which he has constitutional authority, meaning he looks at the Constitution and says, do I have the right to take this $1 billion and give it to this corporation? No, I don't under the Constitution. Well, I won't give it to them then. So, I mean, the guy is a strict constitutionalist. He has a copy of the Constitution, and everything he votes for has to jive with that, man. So, yeah, the long and short of it, the country would benefit from his presidency more than any other candidate. That, to me, is the most scientifically relevant fact in this whole story, in this whole candidacy, this whole campaign. The most important fact, Mr. Scientist, is that the country would benefit the most from his success as a candidate for president. Well, also, you take that link, your link down below. I'll have a few links too. You take that link and say Thomas Jefferson clearly shows that Thomas Jefferson talked about there being a separation of church and state, and Ron Paul was wrong in his article where he said there isn't evidence in the writings of the fathers, because there it is. You pointed it out. Bravo. But Thomas Jefferson, who, by the way, was a slave owner, lived in a time where the country culturally was coming out of the foolish thought that you could own another person. Thomas Jefferson owned slaves, and the country grew out of that ridiculous behavior. And I think that, and we can look back on Thomas Jefferson and be grateful for his terms in office. And under that same logic, under that same reasoning, I think we can look at Ron Paul's take on evolution and say, the country will outgrow that denial as well, and we'll grow out of it, and we will be better for his terms in office. We'll be better for his service, even though he might have been wrong on a cultural issue that is pretty ever present in a lot of the country right now. So you're better served by electing someone who is going to benefit the country in many ways. Personal liberties, economic liberties, and stopping this economic meltdown of the country. That is what matters. And so the issues that you're talking about, and I'm not belittling abortion. Again, I think abortion is a very important issue, and I disagree with Ron Paul on the issue of it being a state right. I think it should be an individual. It's an individual right, in my opinion. And so I can disagree with Ron Paul on that issue and still not think that I have to abandon his whole campaign and everything just because of that issue that I disagree with. So again, I don't know if you're ever going to find a candidate that you 100% support, because somewhere a candidate will have said or written something that they later change their mind or that you disagree with, unless you run. And guess what? If you run, I'll bet you I could look into your history and find something you said 10 years ago that you might not believe right now, that you might not feel so strongly about, or maybe you question that. So, yeah, hold him to what he said, sure. But look at his voting record. I hate to break it to you, but you're capable of a little unscientific generalization as well. The whole thing about, it seems like there are people out there that don't agree with this guy on a lot of things, but really important stuff, and still decide they're going to support him based on the few things they do agree with. Most people that I see supporting Ron Paul support most of what he stands for. And if you go on any of the chat rooms, the abortion issue and the evolution issue are like a small fraction of what people are talking about. So this whole idea, you're taking your issues, these little smidge of issues over here with Ron Paul, and saying all these other things people. No, you're missing that. It is this teeny little fraction of his ideas that are your issue, and you're pushing that on everyone else and saying that they're ignoring some element of his candidacy. Look at his voting record. Show me in his voting record where he has affected negatively anyone's personal freedoms. Show me that evidence. You can show me an article that he wrote in 2003 about the separation of church and state, and oh my gosh, he's not. If you hadn't discovered this about evolution and abortion on him, then he'd be the perfect candidate, right? Is that all you've got? He wrote an article about. You're taking. If you really were looking at the whole big picture, I think you would look at the economics, the civil liberties. You'd look at all of the aspects here. I mean, look at his position on don't ask, don't tell. Look at his position on getting the government out of marriage. You make him out to be this draconian, foolish, ancient guy from the Stone Ages whose answer to everything is Jesus. Well, Jesus isn't his answer to everything. Your being able to decide for yourself, so long as you're not violating others, is his answer. It is liberty. It is liberty. That's what he's promoting. And I don't know how you make it sound like such a dirty word, but I think that you that's something you need to work through, you know?